Every so often in my family, someone writes a candid book or gets knocked up by the wrong guy. Now it was my turn. The acronym WASP, from White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, is one many WASPs dislike, as it's redundant, Anglo-Saxons are perforce white, and inexact. Elvis Presley was a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, as is Bill Clinton, but they are not what anyone means by WASP. Waspiness is an overlay on human character, like the porcelain veneer that protects the biting surface of a damaged tooth. Worse, the adjective is pejorative. Waspy is reserved for horse-faced women, tight-assed men, penny pinchers, and a cappella groups. I'm too cheap to spring for a new acronym, but my family WASPs were circumscribed less by skin tone and religion than by a set of traditions and expectations, a cast of mind. They lived in a floating Ruritania loosely bounded by L.L. Bean to the north, the Shingle Style to the east, Robert Falcon Scott's doomed polar expedition to the south, and the limits of Horace Greeley's optimism to the west. That cast of mind is excessively attuned to such questions as how you say tomato, a word I now found myself pronouncing both ways, usually at random and always with misgiving. In this and more important respects, I seem to have become, somehow, a motley product of my famously marvelous background. Oh, sure, I don't belong to any clannish or exclusive clubs. I prefer beer to hard liquor. I'm neither affable nor peevish, the alternating currents of WASP, and I love pop culture. And yet, until quite recently, I had the WASP fridge. Marmalade, wilted scallions, out-of-season grapes, seltzer, and vodka. Nothing to really eat. The WASP fridge is like the bachelor fridge, but WASPs load up on dairy, including both 1% and 2% milk, moldy cheese, expired yogurt, and separated sour cream. And atop the WASP fridge sit Pepperidge Farm Milanos, Fig Newtons, or saltines, some chewy or salty or otherwise challenging snack. I have a concise and predictable wardrobe, and friends even like to claim that I invariably wear the same oatmeal-colored Shetland sweater. Not this one. I will never experience the pleasures of leather pants or a shark's tooth on a thong dangling in my chest hair. I will never experience the pleasures of chest hair. And like the Tin Man, I don't articulate my upper body in sections. It moves en masse or not at all. I politely stand aside. No, after you. I have a soft laugh and I rarely raise my voice. Though I have an outsized grin and friends take pleasure in trying to elicit it, I am reserved upon first meeting. I used to like being told I was intimidating because it seemed to sanction my verbal jabbing to maintain a perimeter. Making everyone a little uneasy came naturally. When I characterized a college roommate's dancing style as Jimmy cracked corn, he nursed the wound for decades. And a woman I fooled around with in my early 20s told me years later that she had to get a new mattress and headboard after I remarked on her game show bed. I am slow to depend on people because I hate being disappointed, hate having to withdraw my trust. All this has often led people to read me as aloof or smug. I am fiercely but privately emotional. I was embarrassed recently when my wife, Amanda, found me having put The Giving Tree down while reading it to our twins, Walker and Addie, because I was in tears. I married Amanda, a strong-minded food writer, 7 years ago. Bless you. And she immediately began to revamp some of my disaster areas, including my fridge. I walk into parties with a confident air, but wait to speak until I have a point to make or self-deprecating joke to offer. I can give a handsome wedding toast. I am slow to pitch in on manual labor and not particularly handy, though I pride myself on the rarely called-for ability to carve a watermelon into the shape of a whale. A sprig of parsley makes the spout. I am frugal to the point of cheapness. When out to dinner with friends, I used to contribute only for the dishes I had ordered. I dislike having to eat quail or crab, all that effort and mess for scant reward, and a version Amanda calls no sex in public. For a long time, I didn't think of myself as particularly competitive, though my golfing buddies kept assuring me as they pointed out where my helicoptered 5-iron had landed that I was. My belief that you shouldn't do something you care about in a half-assed way often provokes the charge that I don't want to take part in any activity that I can't do well, that I fear public ineptitude, which is certainly true for karaoke. Despite my standoffishness, I am a good listener and loyal, and friends often turn to me for advice. A Wasp friend remarks that I would have made an imposing country parson. Most of all, I am a Wasp because I harbored a feeling of disconnection from my parents, as they had from their parents, and their parents had from their parents. And because, deep into my 30s, most of my relationships had the lifespan of a child's balloon. I felt that I was carrying around a brimming bucket of walnut stain, and that if anyone got too close, it would spill all over both of us. So I ended up spending my inheritance and then some on psychoanalysis. I was in trouble, but it was nearly impossible for anyone who didn't know me well to tell, and I made it nearly impossible for anyone to know me well.